Barbara. How are you? Oh, you're so wide awake. Morning, Gordy. Well, I see you're stuck in your...
It's hours before the first visitors arrive.
You having me this morning?
A time for morning greetings and the day's first meal.
People look at these animals and they see an animal that sleeps up to 20 hours a day, and it's kind of difficult to recognize that an animal that sleeps that much can actually have a personality, but they really do. They're very unique animals too, and so they're really fascinating. They're actually marsupials rather than bears. A lot of times people call them bears. That probably originated because they look sort of like teddy bears.
unfortunately, a lot of the wild habitats of many, many species are disappearing for various reasons, population explosions and what have you. So we may be one of the last bastions of survival for some of these species.
We try to do the park on a geographical basis, so that the animals you see together are animals that you would see within a certain geographical area. And of course we have to give ourselves some liberty and be a little bit flexible, otherwise we wouldn't be able to put as many things together, because they don't all occur, for example, in the same country, but they do occur within a geographical area, a landmass.
The zoo's hospital complex houses the important work of a team of researchers, veterinarians, and animal keepers.
We have probably the most diverse, multi-talented program of any zoo in the world, bringing scientific disciplines to bear on the needs of these animals. I'm director of research in the Center of Reproduction of Endangered Species, which is the zoo's research department, which aims to get all the knowledge necessary to establish self-sustaining populations of endangered species in captivity, with the hope that ultimately we return some of these animals to the wild, provided there is a wild preserved habitat for them. We interact, of course, with the curators and with the clinical veterinarians. The curators will actually provide us access to the animals. If we're investigating infectious disease problems, the veterinarians are the first to bring these to our attention, and then also again provide us the sample materials necessary in the laboratory to identify the disease in question, which is causing a health problem.
What's the scenario going to be for the hospital? This one, we've got the springbuck to do first, then the muntjac, and then the pygmy chimps after that. Okay, and the deal with those guys is just regular processing, because we want to give them their physical exams and TB test them, and take some specimens for some investigative studies for mycobacterial infections.
These are lion-tailed macaques, which come from India, and it's one of the most endangered of the macaque species. There are probably only about 1,000 of them left in existence in the wild. There are several zoos that have them in captive breeding programs, and we're one of them, and I think we have one of the largest collections of any in captivity.
One lion-tailed macaque offers an inspiring example of human and animal determination.
Kim is 3 years old, and he has cerebral palsy. He lived with his mother for about 13 months, and then we had to separate him from his mom because she was nursing him, and her milk was no longer nutritious enough to sustain him. And we started hand feeding him, and we still do that. We hand feed him twice a day. He's doing quite well. During the time that we've been hand feeding him, he's gained about 3.5 pounds. In the wild, an animal like Kim, an animal diagnosed with cerebral palsy, would not survive. Kim cannot climb, and in the wild, these animals spend about 80% of their time in the trees. So just the fact that he couldn't climb would definitely have killed him. And we have physical therapists who come in and work with him. We also do exercises with him in an attempt to get him to move better. When we first pulled him away from his mom, he couldn't even use his back legs. He simply dragged them behind him. And now he can walk as well as run. So one of the things that we've done for Kim is we've built this special ramp in the cage. This ramp starts down at the bottom and goes up to the nest box, which is a sleeping area for the animals at night. And Kim now can climb up and sleep with the animals in the nest box. He gets along quite well socially in the group. I think on some level they sense that he has a handicap. The other animals respect him.
nursery, sky ride both ways, and a map of the park. Thank you. Bye-bye. Morning, Barbara. How are you? Oh, you're so wide awake. Morning, Gordy. Well, I see you're up in your...
It's hours before the first visitors arrive.
You having me this morning?
A time for morning greetings and the day's first meal.
People look at these animals and they see an animal that sleeps up to 20 hours a day, and it's kind of difficult to recognize that an animal that sleeps that much can actually have a personality, but they really do. They're very unique animals too, and so they're really fascinating. They're actually marsupials rather than bears. A lot of times people call them bears. That probably originated because they look sort of like teddy bears.
The white animals with the long straight horns are the Arabian oryx, and they were once almost completely extinct in the wild after World War II. The few animals that were remaining were captured. Since then, we've had over 150 births of the Arabian oryx, and as a result, we've been able to help reintroduce this animal back into its native homeland, places like Jordan and Oman.
It's a very gratifying experience for everybody to be involved in that project, because there are so few species that are in peril today that will be able to be released back into the wild. Not because no one is breeding that particular animal, because there's no wild to be returned back into.
The urgency of the park's mission is amplified by scientific estimates that at least one species of plant or animal vanishes from the wild every day. and that number will grow to 1 per hour by the end of this century.
It's a privilege to be able to have a part to play in preserving an animal as magnificent as the Przewalski horse, or as a tapir, or as a gorilla or orangutan, or almost any of the species you can see here at the zoo. These are part of the treasure of biological resources of our planet, and they've been on the verge of extinction, and now they're coming back. And the most fantastic thing would be able to participate in seeing that they go back into nature. That's really one of the big goals.
Without zoos and without game preserves, certain animals will disappear because I believe in some years to come there really won't be wild animals. They will be managed in some way or other. I like to be part of that.
The world to me would be a very, very lonely place if we were the only species inhabiting it. And at the rate of extinction of species, which is about 1 a day right now, and by the year 2000, maybe 1 a minute, and those are rather accurate projections, we might be the last species, and indeed then we may ourselves be in jeopardy as our habitats become so imperiled by human activity.
We have a tremendous opportunity to allow people to see the diversity, the wonders of different types of life that exist on this planet, and thereby we hope to let them come to appreciate this more and to participate more actively in saving the wildlife, saving the forms of plants and animals that are in danger on our planet.